Are you listening? This ain't no quiet thing. We're screaming out our lungs. Hey, are you listening? Hey, are you there? Hey, are you listening? Or do you just not care?
Well, hey, are you listening? This is a podcast exploring the past, present, and future of Christian music. My name is Joel, and I'm here with my good friend Brandon. We connected over a mutual love of some particular artists, but also have kind of different taste from each other. And so we get to expose each other to new stuff while inviting some friends along for the ride. Brandon, you have a friend who is here with us today.
So this friend, his name is Zach, and we met in college. I wrote down Zach's passions, or some of these are, is helping people, music, and Bojangles.
Respect.
Zach, if you'd like to explain to people that might not be familiar with the Bojangles, because Zach actually lives out in California, so I feel like you often have to explain to people what a Bojangle is.
Mm-hmm. So, for those listening outside of the Southeast, a Bojangles is perhaps one of the better, if not the best, chicken place that I have ever been to. a classic. If you've lived in the South for long enough, you've known, like, my granddaddy goes to that Bojangles and sits with his boys. You know, three mornings out of the week, gets a black cup of coffee and a chicken biscuit and calls it a day.
I love that because I feel like Bojangles doesn't get enough respect in South Carolina for whatever reason. I used to live in North Carolina, and in North Carolina, everybody is obsessed with Bojangles. It's like the place to be. The drive-through lines are always insane. And so we grew to love it because we moved from Mississippi. We grew to love it and then moved from North Carolina to South Carolina. And there's Bojangles, but like people like aren't, it's not like a big deal. And I'm like, what's wrong with you people? It is good stuff.
But yeah, we're super excited to have you on, Zach. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
Is there anything that we need to know about you guys and your, how do you know each other? Like, give us some background info.
So yeah, we met in like I think it was a theater production. I think our friend Ariel was doing either that or improv, one of those two.
Yeah, I think it was improv first, and then Ariel caught me for the production.
And the earliest memory I have of Zach is we found out we both love Bojangles. And so I'm like, I still have these. For whatever reason, we had downtime, I would just go film these little shorts of Zach, like coming from like inside like a small like hidden closet, or him like turning around the corner, and I'd be like, "Sir, do you know what time it is?" And he would just say bow time. So that was always just the joke, is that whatever I asked him, he would just be like, bow time. And we thought it was hilarious. And now that I say it out loud, it kind of sounds weird or strange, but
I think we have a real missed opportunity. We could be eating Bojangles while we record this episode right now.
Yeah, I think
did
so.
You not
Yeah,
think about that?
I should have reached out to them.
Make for a really nice soundscape on the podcast.
I think this was when we were talking about sharing a story, because before we recorded, Zach had brought up, there's been a lot of times where I'll just say something like random, and I'll just like joke with people and see, oh, I wonder if they believe this. And usually I'm pretty good at saying like, oh, that was a lie. Like one time I told someone at Charleston Southern that the entire college was underwater for 100 years. But then when the Great Flood receded, like everything was still intact, and they believed me. And I was like, no, I'm messing with you. But there was one time that Zach came to visit our apartment, and I made a comment to him about like, oh, don't use the bathroom after 11 o'clock, because the way the pipes run, it'll run through our friend's Andrew's bedroom and wake him up. And so now the way this apartment was set up, I thought that like Zach would put it together. It was nonsense because the bathroom, it like would have had to run like up the wall, through the wall. Like it would not have made sense for the pipes to run here. So I didn't think anything of it. I thought, okay, Zach might like laugh, but he'll realize it. Fast forward, eventually Zach moves in. Like once I got married, another friend got married, Zach moved into the apartment.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long was it that you believed for this?
It might have been two or 3 months of living in this apartment.
And so Zach was living in this apartment, and he truly believed that I have to get everything done like by 11 o'clock because I don't want to mess with our friend Andrew and mess up his sleep. And so when I found out about that, I felt so bad because I think even like Andrew was like, why are you doing that? That's weird. And so not only did Zach like have believed the absurd lie of mine, but then he was judged by other people for trying to be a good person. And that's the story of Zach's college life.
And it's almost like there's consequences for our words. Brandon.
It is true. This actually is just an intervention. We're not here to discuss an album.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, Zach, we're pumped to have you here, and I'm excited to get to spend some time getting to know you as we chat through this. So today, we are listening to an album that Zach brings to us as one of his favorites. The album Ending is Beginning by the band Downhere. So I'm excited to get into that in just a little bit. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about what's in the news.
What's in the news? What's in the news?
All right. So I have a little bit of a journey for us to go on today for our news segment. Usually when we talk about what's in the news, we're talking about things that are actually happening in the world of Christian music. But today I want to spend some time talking about things that aren't happening in the world of Christian music. We're going to talk about fake news. And I know fake news is like a political, like whatever. But I was shocked over the last week to discover that there is a lot of Christian music fake news out there on the internet. Did you know about this?
I didn't know about it until you told me about it.
So I think what happened is I saw an article that I immediately was like, started reading it. And then I'm like, that can't be true. And I clicked on it, which took me like deeper and gave me more. But then once you do something like that, your whole like newsfeed starts filling up with those kinds of things. And so now my whole Facebook feed is just like Christian music fake news. And so I wanted to like give you guys some of it just to get your reaction to it and see what you think. Basically what's happening is it's like AI written stuff that's out there, articles about news, about particular artists. And then you have hundreds or thousands of comments on these things from Christians who can't like discern that what's happening is not actually real. Like they believe that it's real. So I was going to give you some. So there's this one Facebook page called Made to Move. And I feel like this one, Brandon, is just so up your alley. You need to go click follow on this page because the whole page is about Toby Mac.
I want to say real fast, I don't like that I just told a story about like lying and making up ridiculous stuff. And now we're talking about people who are bad.
Well, I wonder, Brandon, if maybe you're the one that's behind this Toby Mac fake news page.
Me and Zach have been peddling fake Christian. That's how we pay for our rent.
Here's what I think's fascinating about this. So if you go to this page, Made to Move on Facebook, which you can go pull it up right now. It's the intro of it says, where faith doesn't stand still and hope gets loud, inspired by uplifting music, bold belief, and a life in motion. We're made to move forward, live with purpose, and shine light every day. So you're like, okay, that sounds like whatever. There's an actual address on here. I'm just going to say it. 178 Trouser Leg Road, Gobbles, Michigan. There's a phone number.
What's his address again? I need to look up Gobles, Michigan.
Phone number is 413-875-3314. I mean, they're putting it out there. I'm not afraid to put it out there either. So I'm just going to give you some examples of headlines off of this page. Okay. This is the first one that's on the page. The cameras flashed, awaiting the signature swagger of a Christian music icon launching a massive new tour. So this is about Toby Mac launching a new tour. And there's like AI pictures. It's pretty funny because they don't even match what it's really about. Even though supposedly he's giving away, according to this, every single cent of his tour earnings to build recovery centers and shelters. So I guess that's what some of the pictures are. But the pictures that they show for these news articles are clearly like not Toby Mac. You can tell they're AI pictures. So I don't even know who this one is about. I'm going to skip past that one. Let me find a good one. All right. The final drop. Tonight in Nashville, the air feels different, heavier, yet electric with memory. Under the glare of the spotlights, Toby Mac steps onto the stage and the roar of the crowd shifts instantly from excitement to a deep, reverent hush. This isn't just a concert. It's the end of an era. Apparently, Toby Mac's quitting. That's what that one is about. Then you have Netflix drops Toby Mac, The Untold Story, the raw documentary that will change how you see the Christian legend forever. That's not real. Breaking news, Toby Mac hits Deep World Tour 2026 just dropped. 35 dates across North America, Europe, and Australia. Here's what you have to notice about this. They'll simultaneously run an article saying that he's quitting music and then run an article about a new tour that he's launching. So they're contradicting each other. This tour, there's buzzing rumors that Lecrae or former DC Talk bandmates may join. Then you've got Toby Mac and Forrest Frank announce final farewell tour, 40 cities. Legendary guest and a goodbye Christian music we'll never forget. Then the different tour, Toby Mac's going global. The mission is far from over. Far from over. He's not quitting. Picture that's definitely not him. Then the silence has been broken by four powerful words. I'm not done yet. So he's still going. Netflix again, a different Toby Mac documentary. This one's called The Beat That Never Fades. So there's two different Toby Mac documentaries hitting. Then you've got The Day the Music Stopped. Toby Mac silences The View with a sermon they didn't ask for.
There you go.
Toby Mac walked onto the View set with the humble swagger of a man who has played thousands of arenas, waving to the crowd. No one expected that just minutes later, the peace and love vibe would turn into a spiritual battlefield. No script anticipated it. No control room could stop it. In the moment, Whoopi Goldberg slammed her hand on the desk and shouted, "We need to cut to commercial. Stop the preaching." The line had already been crossed. The packed studio instantly turned into a pressure cooker. Every camera locked onto Toby Mac, no longer just a Christian music icon there to promote a tour, but a believer refusing to water down his message live on air. Toby adjusted his cap. No shouting, no theatrics. Just the grounded, passionate calm of a man who has weathered the loss of a son and spent 30 years championing a message the world often mocks. "Listen to me, Whoopi," Toby said, his voice steady but carrying the weight of a revival tent. "You don't get to invite me here, praise my positive vibes, and then immediately try to censor the name that gives me that joy. You want the fruit, but you hate the root." The studio froze. I can't keep going. Anyways, Toby Mac hasn't been on The View, at least as of late. The next one is Toby Mac is recovering from surgery. So this page is just on and on, multiple times a day, releasing new news articles about Toby Mac. And what I think is fascinating about this, I'd love to get y'all's take on this, is that somebody is getting AI to write stories about Toby Mac. There's also a ton of pages about like Brandon Lake. They're getting AI to write these stories that I think people want to hear about artists, the kinds of things that they think are going to get a lot of likes and a lot of comments. But they're completely like not true at all. And so what does it mean when we're creating a narrative about somebody that fuels something that we would think is a positive message or an agenda, but yet it's all based in lies? What's happening?
I wanted to say, while Zach collects his thoughts. So when you type in that address, it takes you to a place called Larry's Pub in Gobbles, Michigan. But then you search Larry's Pub, and it brings you to a Facebook that it says you have no access.
Oh,
So I'm going down this rabbit hole now
there's
to
a
where
wormhole.
like, does this place exist? Does Larry's Pub exist? If you live in Gobbles, Michigan, let us know.
hang on.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Zach?
I mean, I think as an artist, it would be a little like, I mean, kind of disheartening because I assume like you're trying to build something, you're trying to put like yourself out there, and you don't need like this what is it? You don't need this mythologizing of yourself. Like, it's like, no, I know what I do. I know how I perform. I know how I write. I don't need you being like, oh, I told off Whoopi Goldberg, or like I'm playing 18,000 cities in the next 6 months. You know, like I think it's a little insulting, honestly.
Yeah, I think me and Zach talk about this a lot, that people like want to stay in their own groups, and I feel like it's weird because people almost want this to be a like you look at someone like Toby Mac, and you can like love his music and be like, man, he helps people, he does all this stuff, but for some reason, if you throw out that like, oh, you know that he goes to like a Southern Baptist church, well, now all of a sudden there's people that are like, oh wait, he's one of those. Or if he was to say, yeah, I voted independent, it's, oh, so and it's this weird thing of like, so you thinking that like sways it. And even in that example, you read and you're like, does that sound like something Toby would say? Like from the real interview, so you can look. But also, secondly, it's like, it's almost this weird, like, we're applauding that. But if that really happened, you'd be like, that's not, like, it's never a good thing, where it's almost like, we don't want those people at church, or we don't want, like, you're too far gone, because even in that one, it's like, no point of it does it say that it claims that Whoopi Goldberg was like, well, God doesn't exist, or like, you're an idiot. It turns into this like thing of, oh, well, Toby said something, and Whoopi was like, cut to commercial. And I don't, to me, it's just sad too, that there's so much stuff that people like, they don't research. And I remember I was always told that when something happens, like, this person was like, I go to like 3 different outlets. And she used the example of going to something that's right, left, and then whatever, Associated Press. And she was like, whatever you see is in all of those, you know that's true. So it's like, there was a plane crash or whatever. And then the other stuff is speculation of, well, this was the cause, or this witness said that they heard this or whatever. And I think that it's just sad that when you see people reading that, and it's not like, did that happen? Or, you know, like, to me, I would go to YouTube and pull up, oh, let me look at this clip. But it's like, yeah, you see that doesn't happen. And I feel like it's just sad that like social media has become so weaponized that that's what it's being used for, is like, how can we, you know, and on the opposite, I think about the people that stop being a Toby Mac fan because they think that he's out there starting feuds with Whoopi Goldberg, which sounds like a Mad Lib. And then Toby Mac yelled at Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, there's definitely an agenda that's like being fueled by this. And I would hate, as an artist, for anybody to take me and my name and try and like fuel their agenda. in that way. And I'm sure that whoever put this together probably is a Toby Mac fan
Yeah.
and probably enjoys his music a lot. But it's kind of like what we do. I'm going to get a little Christian for a minute. It's kind of like what we do a lot of times in kind of creating God in our image and in our agendas.
Yeah.
That we believe that we can speak for what God wants or what God can say. But yet we're doing that with like artists that we revere or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I know this, Toby would do this. And so I'm just going to create a fake news article about the fact that he did this. I'm so troubled by this on so many levels, not only from misrepresenting people, and blatantly, like, this is a lie. This is a breaking of the 10 Commandments. And so that's problematic. But also just for the amount of people that read this and just believe that it happened and believe that it's true. And we've got to become more discerning as a Christian culture of the things that we read and see. In a world of AI, there's no room for us just automatically believing something that we read on social media anymore. We've got to be willing to do the research and check it out and decide what it is. And so I don't know. This bothers me a lot, especially since I was able to see how much of this there is out there. And a lot of it seems really similar. I think ChatGPT is like really working hard for some of these people, writing a lot of this kind of stuff. And a lot of it seems kind of plug and play, that it's like the same story. Yeah. But we're going to, this time it's going to be Toby Mac. Next time it's going to be Brandon Lake, whatever it may be. So, yeah, I don't know. Any more thoughts you guys have?
I think I'm good.
Interesting stuff out there. Anyways, on that, I'm not really sure. So, all right. Well, we are going to move on to a game. So let's play.
Let's play, let's play. It's time to play a game. Let's play. It's time to play a game.
Yeah, so this week it was kind of inspired by the album we are going to dive into in a little bit. Is that, I caught myself a few times thinking, man, like what genre would I say this is? Like, this one song feels like this other song feels like that. So it kind of really made me start thinking, like, what defines a genre? Like, how do you describe this to someone? So what I decided to do was take one of our biggest passions, I think everyone at this table, is fast food restaurants. And so I'm gonna give you a restaurant, and you're gonna give me what music genre fits that restaurant. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
So first off, Chick-fil-A.
I mean, I think I would, with Chick-fil-A, probably just say CCM, like contemporary Christian music, or maybe worship music. I don't know. Like, it's done well, but it's pretty clean cut. Like, not very edgy. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head with like worship music. Like it feels very polished, I think. Like it feels very, I don't want to say paint by numbers, but a very like ordered in a way. So definitely worship.
And I do love Chick-fil-A, so just be real about that.
I put CCM too. I mean, maybe it's like a Steve and Chris Chapman. If you just throw on some Got to Be True or whatever.
Great Adventure.
Yeah. Next one is McDonald's. I can tell you what I put down, but I feel like it's not going to be a popular comment.
Go for it. Tell me.
I put down classic rock.
Classic rock.
And I feel like it's just
disagree.
Like it's been around forever, but is it really that good? Like, I don't know, every so often maybe. McGriddle is good, but
that's funny. Yeah, Zach, do you have an idea on that one?
My knee-jerk reaction is to say just mainstream pop. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's it's always there. Like you've always got something.
Mm-hmm.
Like and generally it's not always the best, but it's there and you see it a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm going with.
Actually, I think that's the thing that popped in my head the first time too. Is just there's pop music always exists.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, sometimes it's better than others when you go and listen. Um, like half the time, the ice cream machine's going to be broken, and so it's like not going to do it for you, and you're going to be mad that you pulled it up to begin with. Yeah, I think that feels right.
All right, Subway.
Eat fresh.
I put lo-fi. I feel like it's just
yeah.
kind of like you never really think about it, but like it's everywhere, and I feel like it does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Just some kind of like instrumental, peaceful, like maybe piano instrumental music.
Zach, as someone who plays the piano, how do you feel about like? Do you agree or disagree with Subway being likened to a piano?
I really disagree with that. As someone who has spent the last 20 years playing piano, I'm like I've never sat down and like, man, this feels like a turkey club right now. I think I would put Subway in the category of like elevator music.
Yeah,
Just like I don't have high marks for Subway, so I'm like it's like if you need to eat something, I guess like it's food. If you need to listen to something, it's like in there in the elevator with you. It's a thing, I guess.
That's why Zach was never asked to be the spokesman for Subway, so that they just hear it's food, I guess. If you need to eat.
I think I was thinking somewhere between the two of you,
Uh-huh.
like lo-fi instrumental. Yeah.
I've got a couple more. What about Sonic drive-ins?
Oh man.
I put alternative rock because I feel like their menu's just like you've got a hot dog over here, you've got a deep fried Oreo, then you've got people making like apple juice milkshakes. Like it's really just anything you need.
I think I'd put it in like the grunge category.
Yeah. I think we're all on the same page here. It does kind of feel like let's get a little quirky and do something that's alternative to the mainstream, but most of the time with like pretty good success. I like Sonic.
What about Waffle House?
Waffle House is bluegrass. I will take no questions.
I definitely thought country music was the thing that popped in my head. Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe it's because if you go play any of the actual Waffle House songs off of the jukebox in Waffle House, they're like all country music.
What was that one that Jared tried to play a while back? It was like Steve's Oil or something. Oily paint. I don't know.
There's some really interesting songs on the Waffle House jukebox. There used to be one called 99,000 Ways to Eat a Hamburger at Waffle House or something. What? Yeah. Classic.
Our final one, Bojangles.
I knew this was coming.
I feel like what I'm thinking is like, I don't know, like if it's like maybe like pop punk or something. Like it's not for everyone, but I feel like the people that love it, like love it.
I would go so far as to say like I think I'm kind of with where you were with McDonald's. Like I'm thinking like classic rock.
Okay.
Like it's always there. It's always good. It's just classic nostalgic chicken.
It's always good. You heard what he said.
Uh-huh.
I think I would go with like Americana, like roots rock. Yeah, like this. It's not country music, but it feels rootsy. It feels like America, like when you're listening to it, and it just feels right. You know.
Well, there you go. Bojangles, we've fit you into 2 segments already. So all those executives are listening.
Where's the sponsorship?
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, there we go.
That's awesome. All right. It's time to check what's in the mail.
Check the mail. Check the mail. Who, what, when, how, why? Check the mail.
All right. We have a new segment, Brandon, where we check the mail. And I think that you have some mail for us.
Yeah, we have something from this person named Gina Lorick. That name sounds familiar because
Yeah.
it's my mom.
Oh, gotcha.
Um,
So we're still at the stage of our podcast where our moms are the ones that are writing in.
I'll say that my mom, she has, whenever I have dove into anything, she's been super supportive. But like, she's also like, she'll give a fair like assessment. Like, she's not one of those people that's just like, oh, all those things are amazing. It'll be, I don't know, that I don't agree with that episode, or like, why'd you throw in that shade at like Toby or whatever. So
I don't think your mom has left us a review yet online. So
I think she's waiting for us to do a Toby Macker third day review. That's what
Okay.
she's waiting for.
Gotcha.
So she asked, who has been your top 3 artists or groups that you have seen live? And who have you not seen, current or past, that you would like to see live?
Okay. Yeah. So top 3, I think that I've seen live that I'll go with. One would be my favorite band, not a Christian band, but my favorite band, Wilco. I've seen Wilco probably, I don't know how many times, 8 times. And they're just phenomenal. They put on an incredible, incredible show. So Wilco. Number 2, I'd probably have to go Sufjan Stevens. I've only seen him 2 or 3 times, but it's been an incredible show every time. Just kind of one of those life-changing moments. And then number 3, I'm going to go The Killers. So those would be my top 3 concert live experiences.
Zach, do you, or who would you like to see?
That
Do you
I-
have an answer for that
That
one?
I haven't seen?
Yeah.
Yeah. It would probably be a tie between Arcade Fire and Radiohead.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Zach, you have any thoughts on that question?
You know, I have not always been the I haven't been drawn to live music a lot. I'm more of a studio album kind of guy. But I have seen Casting Crowns was really good live. I've seen a lot of like Broadway, off-Broadway musicals live, which blow the albums out of the water, obviously. I think I saw it. All it is Broadway musicals or guys I saw at winter jams.
Well, if you, I guess thinking about that, like if you, like, is there a Broadway show or like an artist, like either one that right now, if we just said, guess what, Zach, we got you tickets to this, that you would be like thrilled to see?
Gosh, it really is just a grab bag. Like I've got like 10 or 12 musicals that I'm like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to see that. It'd be cool to see that. Gosh. I'm drawing a blank, man.
I'm gonna get a
sorry.
text tonight from Zach, like at 1 a.m. that's like, okay, I figured it out. I think
Yeah,
from
we'll edit it in post.
yeah, we'll just throw in like blank.
I would love to see. And
Yeah,
you can put it in there. Yeah.
insert whatever Ticketmaster. That'll be our next sponsor. Is just Ticketmaster.
yeah.
The ones that come to mind of what I've seen is Me Without You, just because the crowd is so like studied, maybe is the best way to put it, that it's just, I remember the first time I saw them, I thought, man, all these people don't know what weird music's about to be played. And then I realized that everyone else in the room knew like the entire catalog.
That's what they're there for, Brandon.
Yeah, yeah. I was in my mind, I was just thinking like they don't know what they're signing up for. But so it's just so cool when you go to a show and you don't see people like on your cell phone, or you don't see people there just because like their girlfriend, dragged them there or whatever. So I'd go Me Without You. I think Toby Mac, from the standpoint of just like it's a full production, and usually like I prefer just seeing someone in like a 500 person place where it's just the instruments and the people. But with Toby, he's one of the people that it's just like there's so much effort that goes into like putting on a show, and like you can just tell that he's like, you paid your money. Like, I don't want anyone leaving here thinking that. So Me Without You, Toby Mac, and then there's a lot of other ones like Family Force 5. I think what stands out to me is I have seen The Last Bison a few times. And the last time I saw him live, it was in this like little like bar / like concert venue, and there was maybe like 20 people there for the show. So like by all accounts, it's kind of like it's sad. It's like, oh, this is whatever. But you would never think you would think that they're playing an arena full of 20,000 people. Like it was the same show, it was the same energy, and it just stood out to me that here these people have this super poor turnout, but they're providing a show like they would for like the biggest crowd out here. I think people I want to see, of course, John Rubin is always going to be like the number one answer. I think outside of that, like probably the top person in like the non-Christian genre would maybe be like Regina Spektor. She just always like, I just grew growing up, and this is someone who took piano lesson for years. I thought piano was the most boring instrument. And the first time that I heard her, like her music is very piano driven. Yeah. She was kind of the first artist that I'm like, oh, you can do that with a piano? Like I didn't know that you could produce this kind of music, And so like I've always thought that that would be a cool concert to go to, just because it is just like a person here telling stories with a piano. So
that's cool.
What I'm sticking to that answer.
All right. I love it.
I did remember a show that I'd love to shout out. Me and my wife went to visit our family out in Arkansas this past September, and we went up to Branson and saw a Sight and Sound musical, David, and it was absolutely phenomenal. I would highly suggest anything out of Sight and Sound. They do incredible work up there.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's awesome. All right, well, let's take a second and just talk about what we've been listening to lately. What have you guys been listening to?
For me, it's like still waiting for like new stuff to hit. We talk about that. It's like it's usually February, March new stuff hits. Man, I'm trying to think. I mean, this week a lot of it was just listening to like going through like Downhere stuff. And I'm trying to think of something new. Colony House, they had a new single that came out. So I've been listening to that. That the second half of that EP drops the second week in February. So I think right now I'm pretty pumped up to see kind of what direction that goes. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped up for that.
Is it supposed to be different or like part one?
It's all I know is it's part two. So I don't think necessarily there's this like, oh, this part is about,
right.
Because even the other one kind of just a mix up of songs. So they've released some of the stuff now, and I mean, like I've enjoyed it. Kind of sounds a lot like part one, but like I've enjoyed it so far. So
cool. Sounds good. Zach, what about you?
I can't really think of any albums off the top of my head, but I have been listening to a lot of Dom Farah. He's like a super indie artist, makes really good like kind of 80s inspired
Okay.
new music. And Steam Powered Giraffe is a really good band that I've started going like kind of deeper into their catalog. They're really cool. Highly suggest.
Those sound like things that I would like to listen to, so I'll definitely have to check them out. Yeah, I think so I'm with you, Brandon, a little bit in that nothing new has been hitting, so I haven't really had anything to talk about that's new. But my kids have a movie that they watch over and over all the time. It's a little flick called A Walk to Remember. And if you've ever seen it, like Switchfoot is half of the soundtrack to that movie, because apparently Mandy Moore was going through a Switchfoot phase or something. And so, and she actually sings a Switchfoot song in the movie, Only Hope, off their second record. And it's like, it is the crescendo of the whole film.
Yeah.
Her singing the song. And so my kids like love that song. And then, so we're like in the car and I just like turn on the Switchfoot version of it. And they're like, oh, this is blah, blah, blah. And I'll like play other Switchfoot songs that are on the soundtrack to the movie. And they're like, oh, I love this song. Oh, this song is great. And then I'm like, all right, this is a prime opportunity for me to get my kids into Switchfoot. And so I've just been playing like, especially the early stuff that a lot of that soundtrack is from.
Yeah.
And so one that I pulled the vinyl out and I've just kind of had it going constantly is their second record that Only Hope is
Okay.
off of, New Way to Be Human.
Yeah.
And so we've just spent a lot of time listening to that lately. And I love that album. I love it, love it. So, yeah, it's been really good. It's early, quirky, but really good Switchfoot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, well, let's transition and get into the thing that we're all here to talk about, and that is Ending is Beginning by Downhere. Well, I'll give us a little info on this record. So, Ending is Beginning is the 5th official album release from Christian rock band Downhere. It was released on September the 23rd, 2008. In May 2008, fans played a part in selecting the songs chosen for the album by rating and scoring 17 potential songs on audioscorecard.com. Christianity Today gave this album 5 stars, and Jesus Freak Hideout gave it 4.5 stars. It's a pretty well-respected record in the Christian music world. So just opening thoughts for this. Zach, I think you are the one that's coming to this with more background than either Brandon or I. So we'd love to hear from you first. Like, how did this album come across your plate, and how'd you get exposed to this band?
So, a little background on me is that I've kind of always grown up in church, but the church that I grew up in was like really super like, oh, it's the blueback hymnal, like it's just very. CCM wasn't a big part of things growing up,
Right.
until I got into like our youth group. About like I would have been like 13 or 14 by the time this released, and this album was the very first CCM CD that I ever got. Like it was my first exposure to the genre, basically. And I mean, I fell in love with it. Like it was something that I would put in, and this is back when I had a little like CD Walkman that I would carry around and just have it running and have it playing. And I don't know, it's definitely like it was the beginning of me like looking at other genres, basically, especially genres that like tied faith into it, which was really interesting.
That's cool. Brandon, what's your exposure to this?
So when Zach first told me, I did this thing where I got mixed up with like 4 different bands, and I was like, oh, that's not them. And I think that I only knew it from like How Many Kings, because I don't know if we play it here or if it was another church I was at that I remember that being played, and that was the only experience I had with them going into it. So it was kind of that classic moment of Zach saying, "We should do this one," and me thinking, "Oh man, I hope this isn't one of those." Like,
Yeah, I used to work at a, back when they existed, a Lifeway Christian bookstore, and this would have been around the time that Downhere was releasing records. But I ran our music department even, and so I had to be like sort of aware of like all Christian music so that I could give people recommendations, and so I think I knew enough about Downhere to be able to like recommend them to someone if they came asking about certain things. But I never really took the time to listen to anything. Honestly, it wasn't until after they broke up. I'm assuming they're technically broken up.
I think so.
It wasn't until after that happened that I got exposed to Mark Martell, who is one of their two singers. And I think I came across him online singing covers of Queen songs, which if you listen to him sing on this album, you know why, because he has a very Freddie Mercury voice. In fact, he now pretty much full-time tours with a Queen cover band. And they actually played in Charleston a couple months ago. But also, when the movie Bohemian Rhapsody came out, Mark Martell recorded all of the like live vocals of Freddie Mercury for that film. And so when you listen to the singing that's happening live in the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, that's actually Mark Martell singing. So because I like Queen a lot, I kind of got wrapped up a little bit in everything that he's doing with Queen and with all the Queen stuff that he's doing. But then also like he still releases a lot of different kinds of things. Like he's got duets with Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith and all kinds of stuff for Christmas music. And so I've just been pretty blown away by his talent as a singer and I think a songwriter. Like there's a video that if you haven't seen this, I highly recommend it, of Mark Martell covering Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. And it's just him at a piano all by himself. And it's one of the most incredible things that I've ever seen before. The man's just incredibly talented. And but I've never listened to any of the music that his actual band put out before. And so for me, this is fun because I'm like, I get to step back now and go listen to Mark Martell when it comes to like songs that he's writing.
Yeah.
And singing. And so I was really excited to be able to get into this. So yeah.
Sounds good.
Any other thoughts you guys have before we kind of get into it?
No.
All right, well, let's do this track by track.
So yeah, first we jump into Bleed for This Love. So my initial thoughts I wrote down is his voice is like a cross between Matt Hammett from Sanctus Real and Kevin Max. And I was like, man, what is going on? And it made me like really curious for more. It also wasn't until I listened to a few of the tracks that Zach informed me that it's two different singers. So I just thought it was the same guy. And I'm like, man, this guy, like, that's cool.
Got some really different.
Yeah. And, but yeah, I talk a lot about how I see a album as like a concert. And I think, the first track, even more so when you don't know a band, like it sets the tone for, cause going into this, I knew they were really popular with, like How Many Kings. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, how CCM is this going to be? And I think right off the bat, I get hit with, okay, this is different. This isn't just, we're making an album to try to get plays on K-Love. So I think like after the first track, I was still like wanting more. Like I was like, oh, okay, I'm excited to see what's, so I think it was really good in that regard that it made me want to listen to more. What were your thoughts, Zach?
Honestly, I I was really blown away by the mixing of this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is definitely a good like kick in the door for
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, we're kicking off an album. But a lot of the like technical things of it, like how it messes with the panning a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it opens hard panned right and like kind of closes panned left.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're moving through it. Um, but like every piece of the verse had like a different like crash in, cut out, crash in, cut out. It's like we're here and this is what we're doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I need you guys to be a little gracious with me on this. I don't really love this as an opener.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into it. But I do want to mention a couple of things. I have notes about Kevin Max as well, because I thought several times during this whole record, I was getting that Kevin Max vibe. And that led me to feel like some of these songs almost sounded like DC Talk songs in some ways.
Whenever you say, like, whenever I feel like it's good or bad if you say this reminds me of Kevin Max's vocals, because we had a college professor, Dr. Cersei, who he was always like, yeah, me and my brother would make fun of him because he's always doing the
Kevin was my favorite singer in DC Talk. So
okay, well that's a good sign.
So it's a good thing for me. Yeah. So about this song, I like this song. It reminded me of like a song by like The Fray. If you've ever heard The Fray, it does kind of give you like a picture of where the record is going, that this is like a piano rock kind of deal that we're getting into. Obviously I like Mark's voice a lot. And so I like that. I like the like drops that happen down to acoustic guitar and then pick back up. And I actually do. I think the production is really good. Brandon and I talk, Zach, about production a lot. And so sometimes good production for me is a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. For me, on this song, it felt a little too slick for me. And it just made the song feel a little stale. And so I didn't dislike the song, but I didn't feel, while I felt like you get a little vibe of where we're going, I feel like this song lacked a lot of the creativity that comes as the album progresses on. And this was a pretty more just like straightforward, like pop rock song. Whereas I think especially starting in like track 3, you have a lot of creativity mixed within that. And I think that this one just didn't give like a good sense of like, this one felt like one that would be played on the radio. Whereas some of their other stuff is like, maybe this is a little too weird for the radio. Does that make sense?
Do you think that if it wasn't the opener, do you think like if this is like track like 3, 4, 5, 10 or whatever, you like it more? Or do you think that you're kind of going to feel the same way no matter where it falls on this album?
I don't know. Maybe it would have blended in a little better. It does feel like a single. Like it feels like we wrote this song to be a single that's going to be on the radio.
Okay.
Whereas I kind of feel like a lot of the songs, they probably knew there's no way this would get played on the radio. And I just happen to like the songs more that are like, I know this song won't get played on the radio. Just in general with any artist. So, yeah, I didn't dislike it, but it just wasn't, it didn't do every. I honestly, at this point, because this is the first time I've listened to this record.
Yeah.
Right? And so I kind of was like, I don't really know what I'm in for listening to this. Like, am I going to have 13 songs of pretty much just straightforward pop rock?
Yeah.
Or what's going to happen? So I was just kind of left still wondering like where we were going, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Zach, moving to Here I Am. What are your thoughts on the second track?
So it's funny because I feel like the way that Joel feels about the first track, I feel about the second track. Like, Here I Am, I think, like, lyrically, it's really good, but it does just kind of feel, it feels like your standard, like, aughts rock groove. In my notes, I said it reminded me a little bit of Our Lady Peace.
Yeah.
And I do know that this actually was one of the singles that was released prior to the album. So it does give that like single, like standalone, cut and dry, probably is going to get played on the radio feel, to me at least.
Yeah, Zach, I actually felt the same way. And so again, here I am. This is track 2, and I'm like, all right, so this is just a pretty standard like pop rock record, which I didn't know where we were going, although I knew Mark's music a little bit, and so it felt very radio friendly. There were things about it that I thought were a little interesting musically. They do this cool like vocal thing at the end of the song. With all these different vocals going on. And I thought that was pretty cool and creative. But it just kind of I felt like, all right, at this point, I'm like, I think I know what I'm getting here. Just a pretty straightforward pop rock record. This one just kind of carried on what I felt from the first song.
Yeah. I think for me, I put down like the piano is still here. So I was kind of like being like, okay, well, I'm picking up on piano's probably gonna be pretty heavy on here. I felt like the backing vocal shined. I think like the track, it wasn't like my favorite track or whatever, but I think that at this point I was still like pretty happy. And maybe it's just because I went into it with expectations of like if we want to say that your average kind of just run of the mill K-Love song is like a C+ or something, or whatever. Like that's my expectation. So I think that right now both songs had kind of like over delivered on what I expected.
Yeah.
So I feel like that kind of helped the album, is that like you're going into it with like really low expectations. So maybe that's just that's the trick, is whenever you're going to listen to an album, just expect it to be the worst thing you've ever listened to. But no, I think that, and I think that I make this comment later on, that it just kind of reminded me that I think that when people talk about like the greatest music and we talk about, this decade, that decade, I feel like there's just something special about like the 2000s where there's so many bands that I love that there was this like 2005 to 2010 mark. And this was kind of reminding me of, like Zach said, is that you're finding these people that are doing this stuff that you're like, wait, you can make Christian music and it sound like this. So yeah, I think right now it was still like above what I was expecting.
Gotcha. What about track 3, Brandon? Cathedral Made of People.
Sorry, I messed up. I put down, I like the like building intro. I really liked how this one, you had this like kind of like slow song, and then there's this transition into like faster, and then you have like the electric guitar come in. So I enjoyed that, because at first I was worried that I was like, I think it's too soon for us to like slow down and just have like this very light thing. So I did enjoy that you had some like different stuff going on, is that there is this like speeding up and we're building to something.
Mm-hmm. Zach, what do you think about track 3?
I have a lot to say about track 3. This is, for me, this is the absolute jewel of the album. Like this is the highest mark that I can come up with, because like Brandon said, there's like the building throughout it is just like, it's very nice, it's very steady, how you like start with just the lead vocalist in the first refrain, then like a small chorus in the second refrain, and then you, after the double chorus, you just get the full choir and the like organ in the back. And maybe I'm just a sucker for choir and organ, but like just that big kick in the door, like sky opening moment is the thing that I live for in this album. I have, what is there? that little refrain at the end is a really good touch. That nothing ever can stand against her. It's almost giving like church bells in an old cathedral. There's like creaking wood noises, like really soft in the mix at the very beginning. Like it paints a fantastic picture.
So when I finished track 2 on this record, Brandon, I almost texted you and was like, while I was listening to track 2, and I was going to be like, man, I'm going to have a hard time with this record because it's pretty straightforward. And then I started listening to track 3, and it's like my mind opened up to this album. And I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for. This, Zach, I think is probably my favorite song on the album too. But it just creates like a moment where the rest of the album after this is very different, like from what happens in the beginning in ways that I love. And so for me, the whole record picks up here, but I really love this song a lot. This is where I wrote down the like Kevin Max DC Talk influence too, because I'm like, this sounds like it could be like one of the more like creative, like DC Talk songs. Like you can tell Mark Martel was a fan of Kevin Max. When you listen to this, there's like a cool guitar solo section that's happening. And then that organ hits, and I was not expecting it. I was not ready for it, but that organ took the song from a 4 to a 4.5 for me. I'm like, man, this is awesome. It's overblown. Like that organ is too big for the mix, but it's perfect because of that. Like it just works so well. And I'm here for it. I just wrote down, love it, love it, love it. I thought this was such a cool song. Maybe not my favorite song lyrically on the album. It's pretty simple, but man, all the musical stuff going on. Like there's a point in the build where it really does kick in and sound like a Frey song, but in all the like right ways. It's a great track. Yeah, I loved it.
Next, we move to My Last Amen. Were you loving this track as well, Joel?
I did love this track, Brandon.
That's good.
I thought this was a really interesting piano work and melody. This was like, I could tell Mark Martel is like all over this. There's like a Queen influence. Like this is the first time I heard Freddie Mercury on his voice on this record. I wrote down, this album's really getting better. And there are these moments where the guitars are hitting and there's horns in the background, and then somehow and later in the song it breaks out into this like dance beat, and I'm like, okay, I wasn't expecting that, but it works. There's a lot of creativity in it. Yeah, I thought it was really interesting.
What about you, Zach?
This is a very creative song, and I love, like, I think like you said, very very musically interesting. It's got like this tango feel. Like I wrote down dancing around the idea of like death and like getting to your last amen in a way. I liked how it never resolved to a major like chord in the refrain until like the very end, and it's like it's that development through the song, and I think we'll get to it in a few other tracks where it's just like the way that it builds, the way that it kind of puts itself together in small ways that just make the finish like chef's kiss kind of thing. It like the trumpet's a nice flare. I don't know if this is too technical, but like the very end has a Picardy third, which is not my favorite, but I think it works here. But it's not my favorite on the track. But I do see like the I see the stars in the sky with this one.
I was telling Zach prior to this that I enjoy when you have people who like know like why something is good and they can explain it. Because I feel like if not, it's just me being like, man, that car was fast because it's fast. But then someone can be like, oh yeah, it's the engine. We put the oil, the special oil, Brandon. In my notes I wrote down, Okay, so you're telling me this guy isn't related to Kevin Max? um, I really enjoy the continuation of it being different. And I feel like the vocals just shine really well.
Yeah.
And like I said, going into it, I didn't really know what to expect, but I felt like the beginning, like y'all were saying, it wasn't like we're breaking new ground, but I felt like to this point, none of the tracks felt like it's okay, here's the cookie cutter we have. And I think that a lot of bands can fall into, yeah, we'll have some different stuff, but you know that 8 tracks on this album are going to have these 4 ingredients, and that's what we're known for, and that's what we're going to sell. So I'm really appreciating up to this point, like just the kind of variety and like sounds and what we're getting.
Yeah. What about track 5, Hope is Rising? What'd you guys think about that one?
You want to go, Zach?
I think that this one I really liked it. If every song from like track 3 has had like a different like angle, I would say that like this one is more like synthy, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
not like hard EDM, but like a little dash of that in the mix. Uh, I've written love the beeps and boops in the metronome like pad, like it sounds very like how do I describe it? It sounds like a click ticking clock in the background. Let's see. It does call back to like the choir feel of track 3 a little bit, and it feels like a interweaving of like, oh, you heard this in this song, you heard this in this song, and it's like all on top of that like aughts feel that you got in 1 and 2, and it's a very very nice lyrically, very nice like in musical motion. Like it feels like this is just going up and up and up, which thematically is really fun. What do you think, Brandon?
For me, like I enjoyed having like a little slowdown in it. I don't know if you guys like will agree with this or not, but I said that like songs like this can be good when they're done right. Many times the CD is made up of entirely of these types of things, but I think the more simple stuff can be good. So like I did feel like it was a little more simple and straightforward than other ones, but it made me think of, there's a lot of times that, when it comes to like worship music, and I'd be like, man, I don't care for this. I don't care for that on the radio. And it's not that all that stuff is bad. I think it's just when everyone is doing the same thing, or when an artist is only doing that. So I feel like you can have something that is more on the simple side that works really, really well when that's not just everything you're being served.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this one. Zach, go back to something that you said, talking about just feeling like musically like it's rising, it's going up. And I felt like I agreed with that. And I felt like that fit with like the theme of the song, Hope is Rising. That this song was a really good blend of, they're not just creating a soundscape and then giving us some lyrics about something, but they're actually like musically painting the picture of what the song is about. And I thought that was really cool. Like it really, as I listened to it, felt like hope is rising right now. Like the song just portrays that idea so well musically. And a lot of artists, like can't do something like that. And so I thought that was a really cool touch to this one. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
Next, we move to Something Heavenly. What are your thoughts on this track, Joel?
Something Heavenly. So for me, I felt like this one was a little more in the vein of the first 2 songs. It felt a little more straightforward. I mean, I liked a lot of things about it. The intro was good. I wrote down a note on this that the bridges are just good on this album. Like these guys are really good at making good bridges. And so even if a song's not like doing it for me, like the bridge pretty much always gets me.
Yeah.
And I'm always here on it. And part of that is just like Mark's voice It's usually Mark singing on the bridge, and so
Yeah.
his voice just kind of floats and takes you somewhere. And so it does that for me on this song. I love all the moments of this song that aren't just the straightforward moments, which there are some there where they do some more creative things. There's some fullness. Like the ending is pretty full with a lot of different things happening. And so I liked a lot of that, but I did feel like parts of it were just kind of more back to the straightforward kind of thing too. But it worked. It worked for me.
You, Zach?
I think, because I went back through and like tried to like actually like play some of these songs because you know when you go through the chords and you go through like how it was put together that way, you can find some really cool things. So like the chords in the verse actually paint a really fun picture because you start on one chord in the middle, like the minor chord, and then you move up, and then you move down, and then you move back, and it's like thematically, it's like, oh, you're in this like a draw upward and a fall downward, and then back to like a minor sounding like this is where I'm at. So like musically, it's interesting. I will echo what Joel said. Those bridges, just every single time, it's like it feels like it should be disconnected, but it works.
Yeah.
You know, it's tethered enough to like be like, okay, no, they didn't just splice this in. But it's far enough away to where it's like a sail pulling a ship, you know?
Yeah.
Gives it some upward motion, kind of like track 5, like that rising motion. Like, from an album standpoint, I think having track 5 and track 6 back to back really helps out both of them, you know, in the grand scheme of things. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the album is still like moving in a really good way. I really like the like eerie stuff that was going on behind the guitars. I was trying to think of how to like recreate that noise, but after practicing, I don't think I can. So if you're listening to this, just go listen to it and you'd be like, that's eerie. But I like those little things. Like I've shared this story before that there was this like behind the scenes on a Toby Mac album. It was, I don't know if it was Portable Sounds or it might have been Tonight, but there was this thing where they're like, oh, we have to have this CD in by 5:00. And it is like 4:15. And one of his guys is going through it and just has this like little bell or something and just going like ding, ding. And it's like, they're just like, yeah, it's such a little thing, but it makes the song better.
Yeah.
And so sometimes when I hear those little things, I think like they didn't have to do that. But it's cool when you have a band or whoever is responsible for it that's taking the time to say, let's do this little tweak on here to improve this.
That's cool.
Next up, we have Coming Back Home. Zach, what do you think about Coming Back Home?
I think first note is that bass is doing some heavy lifting. Like I love the shuffle feel in this one.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a very forward like walking song, you know, which, you know, given the theme of the lyrics, like the prodigal son, it's very much like I'm heading back into like something that I know I just screwed up, but I know I need to head this way. Let's see. The chord under the phrase torn down in the chorus is such like a wide spaced chord. Like it's like, I don't want to say like, it's a minor major 7 basically, which means that you've got like this dark tone in the core, but like this uplifting kind of distant tone in the top end. So you get like this conflicting, like, I hate that I've torn this down, but I have hope that if I go back to you, I can find reconciliation. And then the bridge where it just like barges straight into a major, like, here we go. You won't let me down in this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just it's a really fun song. It's a really fun groove,
Mm-hmm.
and I really dig it.
Brandon, I'm really interested to know your thoughts on this one.
I wrote down, I was like, what genre is this? Country western, rock? I was like, but no, I liked it. I think that it was definitely different than like the rest. But I think this is where I started kind of paying attention to the lyrics and being like, man, I'm enjoying this, because I think even just like musically, when there's tracks that maybe like that's not the like I mean, like, I'm way more of a lyric than like a music person. So I think that it's nice when you can fall back on that. Okay, this just doesn't feel like it's cheesy, and it made me think that I think there's a lot of bands that I know the backstory of, like, okay, here's their production process, or here's like the label had a lot to do with it. So it did make me curious on here that, like, I'd love to somehow find out who were the driving forces or responsible for like us receiving this album like the way we do. Like, is it the label? Is it, Mark? Is it the band itself?
The fans voting on audioscorecard.com.
I'll say I forgot to mention this earlier, that I think that was so cool when, like, I am such a fan of people just doing stuff that's like different like that.
Yeah.
And like when I heard that, I felt like I found out about it after listening to this.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I feel like that bumps up the album score. Just no, I was like, this could have been the worst album I ever heard. But just knowing that, I'd been like, I'll throw it half a point just because that's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I wrote a note on this, Brandon, because I was trying to place this song to, like, the whole time it was going on, I was like, who does this sound like? Mm-hmm. And I couldn't, for the life of me, figure it out until the end of the song. And all of a sudden, it just, like, hit me. What band do you feel like maybe this song sounds like?
I don't know.
I wrote down House of Heroes. And so I want to encourage you to go back and listen to it with House of Heroes ears and see what you think about it. Because it had, it was quirky, I said, but a good kind. Kind of a little bit of a dancey feel to it. There were a lot of like Queen influences to this.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how well you know this, but Queen is like a big influence on House of Heroes, especially vocally with like gang vocals and melodies and things like that are happening. I thought the chorus on this was really different but cool. The melodies were really interesting. There's like a musical interlude that happens, and I think that's where it hit me. Like, this sounds like something House of Heroes would do in a song. And all of it just kind of came together in that moment.
Yeah.
But this is actually one of my favorite songs on the record because it's kind of different in a fun way.
Yeah.
And so I really, really like this one. Yeah. What about track 8, All at War?
For me, this is the first miss on the album. I was hoping that it would fall to where I could follow one of y'all and one of you could say something and I'd be like, oh, okay, that I didn't know that kind of redeems it. I feel like this was just the first one that I was like, I feel like just like the music, like the lyrics, there just was really nothing that I was like, oh, okay, I can hold on to that, or I think that's like good. So yeah, I think this was just the first one that I was kind of like, I don't know, it's just kind of like there for me.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say, I think for me, this might be my least favorite track on the record too. I interestingly wrote down, is this the first slow song on the album? Because I don't think that the other ones hit me that way. Even though I know some of them started out slow, I didn't get hit by it the same way I did here. So I was like, that's kind of interesting. But then it just felt like it was lacking a lot of the creativity that had been happening on the album, even though like it picks up a little bit on the bridge and things get a little more interesting there. It wasn't my favorite track. Zach, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I do. I can agree with y'all that like it is a bit of a weaker track. I think for me the lyrics kind of pull it up a little bit, but
Yeah.
definitely the instrumentation is just it's kind of more ambiance. It's kind of just like it's a very floaty, like no frills, no bells, no whistles, just kind of like a flat plane on which the lyrics sit. And if the lyrics don't really catch you, then it really is kind of nothing. But I personally I like the lyrics. I think the bridge is still cool.
Yeah.
But it's definitely one of the lower ratings on this one.
Yeah, I don't think there's a bridge that misses on the album. So
It makes me wonder. I'd love to go back and listen to the songs that were cut from the album, because I know like Toby Mac a couple of years ago, he released a like lost demos. It was like 6 or 7 tracks, and he was talking about how like one of them on there, he was like, "Well, we already had one about like it might have been like his son or something," and I just thought like, I mean, that's interesting. And I know even I feel like I'm talking a lot about Toby Mac for this to be a down here podcast, but I know like years ago it all stems from there was just this mini documentary on the CD. So this just really pushes that as a kid, and now I love documentaries, especially if they're hidden on like bonus sides of a CD.
well, there's 2 coming on Netflix about Toby Mac. So.
I'm gonna have to check them out. But he was like, yeah, like I start the process by I'll write out like it was something crazy like 100 choruses. Then he was like, we'll trim that down to like 40 of them that will kind of like go further with them. And he was just like talking about how he essentially goes from there's 100 like beginnings, foundations for a song, and then that will be trimmed down to like the 12 to 15 that you see on that album. And I used to think like, man, I wonder what stuff out there is just sitting there like just a good chorus, or you have all the lyrics, just no music behind it. So it made me curious to be like, I wonder if, I mean, maybe you could see this as a whole, like think about the 4 weakest tracks in your mind. Like, are there 4 songs that were not on here that you were like, man, this takes this album from whatever rating to so much higher? Or, was it oh, well, be glad they put this one on instead of like,
Yeah, it would be interesting. You're right. I think they actually did release them. I don't know I can't remember. I read about it if there was a deluxe edition or they made like a separate EP, but basically I think they were the songs the fans didn't vote for.
Okay.
But so it'd be interesting to know why. Were they 2 out there, or were they, like what? Yeah, it would be fascinating to listen to them.
So what are your thoughts, Joel, on Don't Miss Now?
Yeah, so Don't Miss Now was another slow track. I thought it was interesting that they put 2 more chill tracks right next to each other versus spreading them out over the album. But this one worked a lot more for me than All at War. That melody's just a lot more interesting. And then the bridge, holy cow, the bridge, again, so good on this song. So yeah, this, I probably, I think they probably could have just taken All at War off, and then this would have flowed well from Coming Back Home into this song rather than having 2 slow songs next to each other. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me it was like just the 2 slower songs back to back. I think it kind of like does a disservice to it. I don't think there's anything wrong, and I think it's stronger than All at War. But it kind of goes back to the placement of songs. It made me think I probably would have enjoyed this a little bit more if it wasn't preceded by like All at War.
Yeah. Slow songs have a hard time with you anyways, but when you put 2 of them next to each other, it's like, Zach, what'd you think, man?
I'll echo what y'all are saying. Like, I do think it's stronger than All at War. Like, I if I recall correctly, listening through this when I first got the CD, once I got comfortable with it, I would skip All at War and just go to Don't Miss Now, which I think let it flow a little better.
Yeah.
Um, I think Don't Miss Now really highlights like the piano forward stuff that
Yeah.
you get in like the back half of the album. I feel like the front half was more guitar forward, the back half was more like piano forward.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I've got words about this bridge, man. From like a chord perspective,
Yeah.
it is so thematically like on point because the a lot of it is like the road less traveled and whatnot.
Yeah.
And once you get to the bridge, the tonal center of this song gets chucked straight out the window. You're like going to like this key and this key, like you're nodding to this key. Like I asked my wife like when listening through this for the show, I was like, help me figure this out because it just sounds bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, like it's a very consonant like chord progression. Like it makes sense when you look at it, but it's the weirdest way to get all the way back to where you started, which I think is super on point.
Mm-hmm.
It's really it's musically less traveled, and
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I loved that. That's awesome. All right. Track number 10 is Live for You. Zach, what were your thoughts on this one?
I definitely skipped this one a lot. This, I think All at War and this song are kind of at odds for the bottom of the barrel with this album. Lyrically, it's fine.
Yeah.
Musically, it's just not that interesting. And I think they do some weird things with like the drum beats. Like it feels like it builds at like the very, very end just to stop again. Like without one of those full breaks, it's just like even, picks it up and then just drops it. So it's not a hit for me.
Yeah, I think for me, I feel like the past little bit of this song has been way more CCM than like the beginning. I feel like it felt more worshipful, and I agree with Zach that I think that the lyrics there was nothing wrong with them. I think it was just the music that felt like it dragged it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's not one of my favorites either, but I like the pre-chorus. I felt like it was a good shift, and it goes kind of like double time at the end, just to kind of change the pace a little bit. So like two things I thought about it were cool, but yeah, it's not a highlight for me either. So track 11, The Problem. This one felt different to me. Yeah, what'd you think, Brandon?
I think this might be my favorite track off the whole album. I really like this. I feel like everything, just like the music, the lyrics, the voice, like everything was just like firing on all cylinders. And I really love, I feel like a lot of times it's not just like a Christian world thing, but I think it's in every like kind of like a group or whatever you want to call, but there's always this like, well, the problem is it's like pointing outwards, and it's these people, they can do more. Why are they not doing it? It's their fault. And I think I've just learned that like a lot of times when you start focusing on the stuff you're missing, you start seeing the world like start changing, because you start seeing yourself be the one that realizes like, I can't change this person, but I can change how I treat this person or this situation or whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like even just the message of it, like it was just, like I said, it was the best song for me on the album.
That's cool. Zach, what'd you think?
I just want to say I had a feeling that this was going to be Brandon's top song. Like I was like, no, Brandon's going to really, really get this one. I like it. I wouldn't put it as in my top spot, but like I think this is the track on the album where like where it's like a very overt message. Like
Mhm.
this is that like I don't want to say call to action, but very much like a hey, like this is the radical stance in a
Yeah.
Yeah.
way. Kind of what Brandon was talking about.
Mhm.
Um, so lyrically fantastic. It's a neat beat.
Hmm.
It gives kind of like a Western feel,
Mhm.
like kind of like another walking song.
Yeah.
Um, and the chorus stuff on the outro, like I'm just a sucker for the chorus stuff.
Mhm.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. On the outro, that's cool. I thought this was a good like change, a good
Mhm.
feeling change. And one thing that I like about this album is that there is like a pretty good variety
Mhm.
of like influences that are at play coming together, and like letting all those things shine, in a lot of cases. And so I thought this was cool, and yeah, it's a pretty bold message about like our own sinfulness. And so I thought the lyrics were really good. I loved the vocals at the end, like we talk about. But yeah, it's kind of nice having acoustic guitar and things just to feel like a little different. So I thought this one
Mhm.
was cool.
Mhm. Next on, we move to the beggar who gives alms. Joel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this one felt simple,
Mhm.
but not the kind of simple that felt like, oh, this is just another radio,
Yeah.
like straightforward song. I actually I liked the simplicity of this one, and I felt
Yeah.
like the simplicity of this one worked better than some of the other ones. The theme is cool, like
Mhm.
being beggars, like in need of grace. Um, I thought that was cool, and how they played like with that biblically, but also like with them making music.
Mhm.
And so I feel like all their songs like sort of go somewhere, and this
Mhm.
one didn't go anywhere,
Yeah.
but somehow it worked that it didn't go anywhere,
Mhm.
and yeah, I liked it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Zach, what about you?
I'll echo that. Like it definitely it sits at where it's at, but it is content to be contemplative.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah,
Yeah.
It this is one of those this is one of the tracks that I probably played on repeat. Like
Mhm.
this and Cathedral are my top two.
mm,
Yeah.
Like as an artist, like it's just beautiful poetry put over
Mhm.
beautiful music.
yeah,
It's quiet, it's subdued, but it doesn't drag. It's not stagnant.
Mhm.
The lyric that I have written here is I'm recreating visions through a cracked and broken lens. Like that gives
Mhm.
me chills every
mm,
single time. Um, I I don't know. I think that's all I got to say about it. It's
Mhm.
just a beautiful track.
yeah,
Yeah, I think for me lyrically, I enjoy that it kind of like stays where it does because I think that a lot of times in Christian music there's this like I'm not a cool person, but then by the chorus it's like but that actually makes me the coolest person, in the world. And I enjoy that there is none of this like, you know, I don't know. I think sometimes it's almost like we sit there and we pray like, Lord, like just give me what I need to survive. Don't give me anything special. But we say that expecting like, well, if I say that, then God will definitely give me like $1 million because he'll be like, oh, you got the cheat code. You didn't want it, so therefore I'm going to give that to you.
yeah,
So I enjoy just from a story standpoint that it stays with this like, yeah, that's who I am, and that's okay. Like it doesn't, I don't have to become a king or something for this to be worth it or a good life or whatever.
yeah.
So,
Mhm.
I think it's good. I think it's important sometimes to remember that if a song is good enough,
mhm,
like if the lyrics are good enough, if the melody is good enough, it doesn't have to do anything crazy. It can
mhm,
stand on its own because it's that good. I mean,
yeah,
think about a song like Yesterday by the Beatles. It
mhm,
doesn't go really anywhere fantastic, but just in its simplicity is just beautiful. And I feel like this song just kind of carries those vibes and
mhm.
works really well. And that leads us into track 13, the last song, How Many Kings? Zach, what do you think about How Many Kings?
So you guys said at the top what I've been thinking, like if we would have stopped at the beggar who gives alms, I would have been completely fine. It's not that How Many Kings is a bad song. And I'm pretty sure I'm repeating you verbatim, but it just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure this was like tacked on as like a bonus track, and I think a lot of the places that I look at like the track list, it's listed as like a bonus track. But I think while it is a nice Christmas song, like I think it kind of detracts from the album as a whole. It feels okay. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I had the same feeling. Like as I'm listening to it, it's a good song, and it's the kind of thing that I would expect to hear on the radio, especially around Christmas time. I actually went and added it to my Christmas playlist because I'm like, this will work well, like at Christmas time. But it didn't feel to me like it just fit. It fit the record at all as a whole. Like it felt out of place. And as I was looking into it, I noticed that it was I think released the year before as like a Christmas single or maybe on a compilation or something.
Yeah.
And so then my thought is, well, they had a lot of success with it. And so the record label is like, hey, we're going to stick this song on the end of your album because you haven't put it on an album yet. And people love it. So they'll buy the record if this song is on there at the end. But I don't think it works with the album.
For me, I kind of have like a different approach. Like I appreciated the song more after seeing the quality of the other tracks, because I was half expecting it to be okay. Here's their hit, then everything else is just like there's attempts to where it was like here was the other 12 that didn't work, but here's the one that actually did hit.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, I thought the album was different enough that it didn't seem, I guess, as out of place. Like if you like hearing this now, it kind of makes sense. Oh, okay. Like, yeah, I guess I can see how that, but if you would have told me, no, that was the plan from the start, I wouldn't have thought it was like as out in left field. But I can definitely see where y'all are coming from. With it being kind of like, and I think that Zach brings up an interesting point that like, I think the album does feel a lot different if you end with like the beggar who gives alms. And so like, I think that is interesting to think like, oh, like, yeah, how do I feel if that's like at a concert? I think a concert, How Many Kings plays and you're like, yeah, they're playing the top song, so I think it works better if it's a concert, but as an album, I don't know, but
yeah, it's interesting. I think that leads into kind of moving into some of our like final thoughts and rating of the record. I feel like for me, if there were a few songs that weren't like 13 songs is a pretty, I don't want to say bloated album, but there's a lot of songs on there. And so I think that probably if there were 2 or maybe 3 songs that got pulled, then I feel like the record as a whole is a lot more cohesive and just works better. And I probably would have like a stronger rating for it coming out of that. But my rate every track and divide by 13 for me puts Ending is Beginning by Downhere at a 3.6.
okay.
But I feel like if How Many Kings and All at War and maybe one of those early tracks wasn't here, then I think that this album would easily be like over a 4 for me. There's so much about it that I really enjoyed, was surprised by, and just got really excited about. Like I'm gonna keep listening to this because I really, really enjoyed it that much. And I think with just a little editing of the track listing, I think it's even stronger. So,
gotcha. For me, like I said, going into it, didn't really know what to expect. So I feel like it's always safer to have lower expectations than to be like, all right, well, Zach chose this, so it better be the greatest music I ever heard. But I was really pleasantly surprised by like what I experienced with this album. And I gave it like an even 4.
That's cool.
So before this, Brandon told me about your scoring system, Joel. So I kind of split it between like, okay, here's how the Joel system works, and here's how
Right.
Brandon's system works. So I think as a whole album, it has some really high highs,
Yeah.
but the lows don't go super low. Like there's nothing on this album that I'd be like, I dislike listening to this. Like there's nothing here that I'm just like that's like actively bad for me.
Yeah.
There's certain songs that I'm like, oh, I might skip this one, or I'll probably skip this one most of the time. I think my rate every song composite score put me at about like a 3.5. But I'll agree with you guys, if you take out a couple of like, take out All At War, take out a couple of different tracks, like it could definitely be like closer to a 4.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So we're kind of Brandon, you came out on top on this one.
It makes up for all those Striper fans that be upset.
I love that. Well, this has been a really fun one to dig into. I was actually really excited to talk about this because of how much I actually really enjoyed this album. And so, Zach, thanks for bringing it to us and allowing us to get to talk through this and have this journey. Let's talk about our lyric of the week as we get ready to finish out.
It's time for the lyric of the time.
So I felt like there were a lot of strong lyrics on this record. So there were lots of things I could have pulled from, but the one as I was just listening and reading through that stood out to me is from the song My Last Amen. It says, and while the thrills are fading, the joy is in the waiting. Somewhere in the grand design, it's good to be unsatisfied. It keeps the faith and hope a little more alive. I liked just the tension that's kind of in those lyrics, and so I thought that was cool. So, well, Zach, thanks, man, for hanging out with us. This has been a blast, and we'll definitely have to have you back on in the future to talk about some other things. Where can people find you anywhere online? Are you open to that? Like, where can people find you?
People cannot find me. Good luck trying. The best place you can find me is on this podcast.
There you go. And so hopefully you'll be able to find him again in the future. Well, you can find us, obviously here, but we're on Facebook as well. Hey, are you listening? At Hey, Are You Pod on X. We would love it if you subscribe to the podcast so that you can have these in your feed every Friday morning as they get released. If you want to leave a review, that would be awesome. We'd love it if you want to send in some mail to the mailbag. And so you can send in your questions to heyareyoullisteningpod@gmail.com. And we'd love to have a conversation about those things on the air. We're so thankful that you joined us today, and we look forward to having you back in the future as we keep having these fun conversations. We'll see you next week.
Hey, are you listening? This ain't